Hey guys, it's Laurel Beard here with, as promised, my video, kind of giving you a review of the Cosmo Cricut Just Add Watercolor line. Their line, this is so cool. When I saw this around CHA, I was seeing all the sneak peeks and all the demos. I was just completely, you know how I am crazy about watercoloring, and this just makes it so much easier because it's literally all you have to do is add your color down. So I started off with my first order and just got the following, and then of course I went back and ordered everything else. I wanted to make sure I liked it first, you know. So I got this 12 by 12 paper pad, and it's 12 pages full of patterns and cut apart designs, and you know, some of them are 12 by 12, and then some of them, like these are all the 12 by 12 designs. You can't really see, I know, because you got to add the color. But these are all 12 by 12 designs. But at the front of the and I love all this gold foiling. I just think this is so stinking cool. But here is where you can start cutting them apart. It's hard to see in this video, but they have different sizes. Like the cut apart line is here and here. So this is all one thing you can cut apart. This down here is one thing. Then you've got this and this. It's super hard to see in the video. I know it would have been so much easier if I would have just added color. But anyway, here, right here is a bunch of cut apart. These are actually several cut aparts actually. Here's one, 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 here's one. So there's 9 here. So anyway, so they all come in different sizes. So you can do your 12 by 12s. You can cut apart and have smaller designs. So according to this page right here, you've got 6 full patterns and 29 cut apart designs that you can add to cards. You can add in little frames or whatever. Now I did go ahead and do some watercoloring with that. I'll show you in just a second. They also have these cute little tags. I haven't even gotten into these, but I've got 6 tags right here. Let me just pop this open. With different designs on them, and I'm not even sure you're able to pick up the designs in the video, but this one has a bunch of little hearts on it. Can you see? I don't know. Anyway, so these have different designs. So how cute is that for a cute little tag to add on your project or add on a gift bag or whatever? Now, they also carry an 8x8 pad as well. So these are just smaller versions, different designs. Each pad has a different design, but these are just smaller versions here. So you've got some full page designs and also some cut apart. Like on this page, there's 4 cut apart designs. So look at all this gold foil. And that's pretty. Now this one has a lot, 4, 8, 12. This is 16 little square cut aparts. You can make a cool little collage with this in a picture frame or hanging art or something like that. So cool. So anyway, so the paper pads, again, 8 by 8 or 12 by 12, and they're different designs. There's some other designs in the 12 by 12 and 8 by 8 as well. They also have these little blocks, canvas blocks. I went ahead and picked this one up, and I'm going to do this one in the video today live, so I hope I don't ruin it, but it's kind of hard to be honest. I mean, you just add your colors. So anyway, I'm going to do this one in a minute, but they have a lot of different canvas blocks in different sizes. I've gone ahead and ordered a couple more of those as well that are on their way to me. Now, I did go ahead and do some of the cut apart ones, so let me show you what I've done here. And it's from the, which one did I cut apart? I don't even know. I think I cut apart the 8 by 8. But this one right here was watercolored with just the Abandoned Coral Distress ink. I just added some, I smushed my Abandoned Coral down onto my work surface and then just watercolored and then just flicked on some water, and that's what this one was. This one was watercolored with my Gonzai watercolors, which I'm going to use today. So I just did different colors and little swipe marks. So this could be framed for my kids' room or something like that. And then this one was made with just 2 different color gelatos, which I actually just did. So they're here on my craft surface here, and the metallic grape and the metallic mint. And then I went in and added a little bit of gesso in the corner for some added texture. Isn't that neat? And today I'm going to do the canvas block. And hope to God I don't mess up. All right, so I'm going to grab my Gonzai watercolor tablet here, and before I go any further, I just want to point out that I am not an expert watercolorer by any means whatsoever. I just play around, so I'm sure there are, well actually I know there are a gazillion better watercolor artists than me. This is just my, a novice, my impression and interpretation of these this line by Cosmo Cricut. So I've got the 36 count of the Gonzai watercolors. They also come in 24 and 12. And I'm going to be watercoloring this canvas block the same way that I did with that happy, happy, happy. Now I have Duck Dynasty in my mind. With that happy, happy, happy cutout, which just is basically just swipes of color. Because I'm going to end up putting this actually on my desk. I'm going to stand it up on my desk in my bedroom, and I really wanted a lot of color. So I'm going to go in and kind of put the water down first, and then I'm going to pick up some color and then just start playing. Now, you can use any watercolors that you have. You can use, professional watercolors. You can use your kids' watercolors. You can use watercolor crayons, distress inks, whatever you have, you can use. This is a product line that is very forgiving with whatever color medium that you have at your disposal. So I do want to point out that you are going to want to paint the sides and the top and bottom of this canvas, whether you hang it or stand it up. You're going to want those sides finished as well. Now, I remember kind of a few minutes into this that I need to do the sides, but then I totally forgot to do the top and bottom and did that after I filmed the video. So do the sides and do the bottom when you're coloring. Now, that gold that you see there for the more and the happy, that's actually a gold foil. It's really quite pretty. And then the white, the white words is actually almost like a heat embossing. So the foiling and the white embossing or whatever it is going to resist any watercolor that you lay down. So keep that in mind, and really just, you can do this as simple like I'm doing with just swipes of color, or you can be as complex as you want, create gradations of watercolor, whatever you want to do, just do it. That's the fun thing about this line, is you really, just go in and add whatever color you want. So I'm going to go ahead and play some music, and you can just watch me as I, piddle around and try to figure out what I like and what I don't like, and finally it results in something that I'm pleased with for myself. So let's go ahead and play a little bit of music. right, so I am just giving this a once over with my heat gun here. And I am going to take a damp wet wipe that I have sitting right beside me, and I'm going to go over each of those letters, because remember, they are embossed or foiled, so all of that watercolor is going to resist that area. So I'm just taking something damp and just going over each of those letters, taking care to move to a clean area of my wet wipe as I move into each color. And then once I'm done, I'm ready to set that aside and let it dry, and then I'm going to end up putting it on my desk, and I'll show you a picture of that at the end of the video here. So I thought that I would show you how I watercolored this ampersand here, which is one of the cutouts in the paper pads there. So this is some peacock feathers distress ink that I'm just mushing down onto my craft sheet, and that is some picket fence distress paint. And I'm taking this mixture of perfect pearls, which is basically a kind of shiny pigmented spray, and gives it some extra shine. You can see it as it's pedaling up the sheen. And I am just taking my little cutout here, and I am just smushing it down all over my cutout. Now that ampersand is embossed or foiled or whatever it is, so it's going to resist that color. I decided to bring in another color, and that's cracked pistachio distress ink. And again, I'm smushing that down onto my surface, and then I'm just picking it up in just various areas. There is no rhyme or reason to what I'm doing. As you can see, I am overlapping. I really am just smushing. I haven't even hit the distress paint yet. I forgot it was there, to be honest with you. So I'm just going in, adding color here, adding color there, and each time I flip it over, I'm deciding if I like it or not. I'm keeping a wet wipe nearby so I can pick up any petals that I don't like. And then I'm just going to kind of wipe this clean, and I'm going to start all over again. Then this is really how I work, I promise. It's crazy. So again, that's cracked pistachio and peacock feathers distress ink. So I did the same thing. This time I think I just squirted it with some regular water. Really, whatever you want to use is fine. I'm liking some of those puddles. I'm liking some of that drip mark. I just want to make sure the color is evenly dispersed a little bit. So no. I got a little bit of color kind of where I didn't want it to be, that I couldn't really remove. So I'm going to take some of that distress paint that I never used the first time I smushed it down, and I'm just going to dab it over those areas that I got a little bit too dark. And you can see it almost acts as a whitewash, and it's just kind of lightening up that color. And it also is giving it this little whitewash look. So I do this a lot. I do this a lot. It's a great way to kind of tone down the color when you end up putting a little bit too much on. So the last thing I'm going to do is, I didn't want to go get a water bucket, so I'm actually using my water mister, and I'm just dipping my paintbrush in there, and I'm just splatting around all kinds of water. I'm just flicking water. Because I'm using distress paint, it's formulated to react to water, so it's actually kind of moving that distress ink around. It's really quite cool to watch. I'm going to pick it up and hold it, and hopefully you'll be able to see it. It's creating these little puddles. So I'm going to go in with a rag. I swear that's clean. It is. And it just removes some of that, and it just that color, and it just gives that cool little watercolor effect. Now I'm going over with a wet wipe again over that foiled or embossed gold ampersand there, and then that's this. I'll set this aside and let this to dry. And I'll probably end up, oh no, and look, I'm not done yet. I decided I wanted a little bit more cracked pistachio. I promise this is how I work. Is this complete chaos or what? But it works for me. You know what I mean? It works for me. So now I wanted to show you a couple of still shots. This is the cutout using the Faber-Castell gelatos right here. And this next one is a cutout that used the Distress Ink Abandoned Coral, I think it's called. It's their February release of 2015. And then here's a look at that canvas block. If, I hung it somewhere, and I decided, I really wanted it on my desk. So here it is on my desk, and it really adds a nice shot of color. And it reminds me, do more of what makes you happy. So I'm leaving it here. I absolutely love it. So this is overall the Cosmo Cricut Just Add Watercolor. Oh, and there's my Groot. Hi, Groot. So anyway, that's it. I really, really, really like it. The canvas block is obviously a lot more sturdier than the cutouts. I found that in a couple pieces when I added a ton of water, like more than I needed, some of the paper did pill a little bit. But other than that, this is a great line. I highly, highly, highly recommend that you give it a try. It's really a lot of fun to work with and play around with. So thanks so much for watching and hanging with me through this entire video. I hope that you have a wonderful day.